Demon Energy D1NZ, brought to you by TBC Performance Wheels, The Rock FM, Link ECU, High Tech Oils and Club Auto Insurance. Well, welcome to the show. It's another action-packed ride, round 4 of the Demon Energy D1NZ series at Hampton Downs Motorsport Park. So coming up, we chat to current New Zealand Drift King Darren Kelly about his bumpy start to the season. We check out the Pro-Am Development Series, and then it's action from the Pro Class Top 32.
But first, it's time now to recap the last 3 rounds of the Demon Energy Pro Championship, with round 4 at Hampton Downs marking the halfway mark of the season.
Yes, it's already been an epic start to the year, and round 1 brought us the mighty Manawatu, Manfield Raceway in Fielding, where Cole Armstrong and the V-Energy 250 GT Skyline took home 3rd place.
The road to the championship kicked off with the V8s of Kurt Whitaker and Dan Woolhouse battling it out, the 2 former champions having plenty of history together at the circuit. Kurt and the Ford V8-powered Autosure R34 couldn't stop a hard-charging Fanger Dan, though, who took home 1st place in the Century Batteries Holden Commodore, his first ever win at Manfield Raceway.
With first blood to the V8s, the series rolled into ASB Bay Park Stadium in Tauranga, the only custom concrete course and night event on the 2016 calendar.
While Fanger Dan may have been a favourite heading into the event, it didn't translate in the battles, Fanger taking a hit with the concrete walls, sending Tom Marshall on his way to a podium finish.
Bay Park always brings the big hits. Plenty of paint swapping going on between Dave Steadman and Nico Reid. Nico taking victory and setting up a charge to the finals.
Australian international Michael Prosnick would find himself in the spotlight after an intense sudden death battle with Adam Hedges. The crowd on their feet cheering him on into his first ever D1NZ Top 4.
The 4th place would be where Prosnick ended his night. The V8 Supreme Caravans S13 knocked out by turbo driver Nico Reid.
The final battle of the night would pitch Danem Templeman and his Monster Power 3-litre BMW up against the 2.5 turbo of Nico Reid, the former Pro-Am Development Series champion, pushing through to take his first ever victory in the Pro Championship.
Well, the hard charge of Nico Reid didn't stop as the series made a return to Taupō, Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park, hosting a summer slam of drifting with world number 1 Daigo Saito making his D1NZ debut.
Nico Reid would take a dream win and knock out the world number 1 in the top 16, continuing a charge to another podium finish.
Bruce Tannock and his Nissan S13 would be on song in the fast-flowing corners of Track 2 reverse. Danem Templeman looking to back up his podium finish at Bay Park, but a dirt drop cost him, sending Bruce Tannock on his way to 3rd place.
The final battle at round 3 would be a door-knocking thriller between Cole Armstrong and Nico Reid. The Evergreen Tyres Nissan S15 fending off an aggressive attack from the V-Energy 250 GT Skyline, and Nico Reid sealing the deal to take a back-to-back victory and shake up the points race.
Well, if the first 3 rounds weren't dramatic enough, the race to the title took another blow, with Nico Reid being handed a points penalty after a technicality and scrutineering. There was plenty of controversy, but regardless, it throws up a chance for the entire top 10 to all have that chance at a title shot as we reach the halfway mark in the season.
Round 4 of the Demon Energy D1NZ Drifting Championship brings us to a new look Hampton Downs Motorsport Park in the northern Waikato. Another bumper crowd enjoying 2 days of sideways smoke show.
Current defending champion Darren Kelly in the High Tech Oils R34 Skyline sits 9th in the series standings after round number 3. His title defence proving to be a difficult challenge after winning the Pro Championship last year at a rain-soaked Pukekohe Raceway.
It's been a big thing for me this season, being able to run that number 1. It's sort of the ultimate goal coming into the series, and yeah, it's been a privilege to have it on the car, and unfortunately for us, it's been a bit of a battle this season with round 1, 2 and 3. But yeah, sometimes you just have bad luck, and hopefully from now on we can claw back and finish somewhere in that top 3 would be an ultimate goal for us this season, and if we could keep that number 1 on the car, that would be, yeah, top notch.
It's often said winning a drift championship is a real challenge. Trying to defend one, however, could be called a nightmare.
Darren Kelly suffered a steering failure during his top 8 battle with Cole Armstrong at round number 1. It would also be an early exit at round 2 after being knocked out by Danon Templeman. His bad luck followed him to Hampton Downs.
We've had a pretty hard weekend, really. So far we've been battling a few issues with the car. I turned up in pretty good condition yesterday, and so far I've got a pretty severe burn on my leg and a half dislocated shoulder. So.
Superstitions or pure coincidence, a recurring theme in Darren Kelly's challenges this year has been Cole Armstrong in the V-Energy 250 GT, not only involved in a crash during practice at round 2, but knocking Darren out of the top 16 at round 3.
We actually talked about it the other day, and every time something's gone wrong, Cole's been involved. So we've sort of stayed away from him this weekend, and so far we've done not too bad. No damage to the car yet, and yeah, hopefully if we do meet him somewhere, it's in the final, and we can put on an epic battle in the final.
Time now to go for a hot lap thanks to GoPro, and this week we ride with Danon Templeman in his 2JZ powered E46 BMW.
Hampton Downs is the shortest track on the calendar, a standing start with a lead car chicane and a compulsory switchback entry on the right-hand side of the track.
Coming through Hampton Downs Turn 2, it's a typical outside to inside apex race line to set up a full throttle attack over the hill.
Another inside apex across the ripple strip on the left, putting the power down to one final clip on the bottom of the hill.
It's all over in a matter of seconds. It may be short, but there's a lot of technical input from a standing start, and while many drivers can qualify well, it's a track that is very hard to compete with during the battles. And that's a lap of Hampton Downs thanks to GoPro.
Stay tuned. After the break, we check out round 4 of the Pro Sport restricted class.
Welcome back to the D1NZ D1NZ Drifting Championship Series, round 4 of the Pro Sport restricted class.
The new D1NZ category features a 235 wide control tyre restriction with a ban on semi-slick compounds and the use of nitrous oxide.
The Pro Sport Series has been led by Chad McKenzie in the Waikato Tyres 2JZ powered R32 Skyline. In just his second season, he's taken the category by storm with multiple podium finishes and top qualifying results.
Chad McKenzie began his season taking 3rd place on the podium for round 1 in fielding, Cody Pullenbury scoring a D1NZ top 4 on debut.
The final saw the V8s dominate at Manfield once again, with new series rookie Blair Gribble-Bowring taking victory over Calvin Clark in the turbocharged C33 Laurel. Blair taking the spotlight with a victory on debut.
Round 2 in Tauranga brought the Pro Sport Series to the concrete jungle. Vincent Hopkins and Chad McKenzie battling it out in the final. McKenzie had it in the bag with an advantage lead, but took a spin during his chase run. Hometown hero Vincent Hopkins taking victory in his RB26 Nissan Skyline.
While a round win slipped away at Bay Park, Chad McKenzie kept up the hard charge to make it 3 podiums in a row at round number 3.
Series newcomer Cody Pullenbury would take his first ever podium finish in the K-Spec Fabrication Nissan S15. Chad McKenzie coming through to take his first ever D1NZ victory at Taupō.
This puts Chad McKenzie into a comfortable lead with a shorter 5-round series. Vincent Hopkins in 2nd, Calvin Clark in 3rd.
Round 4 of the Pro Sport Restricted class kicked off at Hampton Downs with Kyle Jackways taking victory over John O'Gorman in the Link ECU S15.
A local round for Bex Bennett in the Washworld Te Rapa R32 Skyline, taking victory over Ben Jenkins in the Brian Roberts Towing S13.
It was an easy victory for fellow local Jace Brown, taking victory over round 1 winner Blair Gribble-Bowring.
Kyle Jackways and Bex Bennett paired up in the top 8. The D1NZ veteran in the Colton's Motors 180 S6 taking the win.
Championship contender Calvin Clark battled Cameron Burnside in the red Nissan R32 Skyline. The Prime Avocado C33 Laurel moving through to the top 8.
Gargan Singh had a new livery at Hampton Downs up against Waikato local Jace Brown. The Dash Car Company S13 taking victory.
Calvin Clark continued a solid title race effort, moving through to the top 4, defeating series newcomer Tully Pucky.
Chad McKenzie and Cody Pullenburry would meet again, this time Cody in a borrowed car. 235 radials bolted onto Nico Reed's Evergreen Tyres S15. Chad McKenzie, though, taking victory into the top 8.
This put him through up against Geordie Cole in the twin-turbo V8 FC RX-7. McKenzie with a commanding lead to take victory into the top 4.
Well, in the semi-finals, it was Kyle Jackways up against Calvin Clark. Jace Brown and Chad McKenzie battling for a spot in the final.
Calvin Clark and the Prime Avocado C33 Laurel took on schoolteacher Kyle Jackways in the Colton's Motors 180 SX. Out of the pair of Nissan RBs, it was the RB25 of Calvin Clark taking the win through to the final.
In the other semi-final, championship leader Chad McKenzie was hungry for another win. Jace Brown and the Dash Car Company Nissan S13 trying to put the little SR20 4-cylinder onto the podium.
In the end, it would be a win for Chad McKenzie in the Toyota 2JZ powered Skyline, moving through to his second final of the season.
The battle for third and fourth would see two Waikato locals going head-to-head. Kyle Jackways holding advantage over Jace Brown and sealing the deal with a clean chase run on the SR20-powered S13. Third place to the RB30.
The final battle of round 4 of the Pro Sport Series was a fight for the championship title. Calvin Clark and Chad McKenzie battling for the overall round win at Hampton Downs.
In the end, it would be big mistakes costing Calvin Clark in the chase. Chad McKenzie and the 2JZ-powered R32 Skyline coming through with back-to-back victory and setting up a final run for the grand final at Pukekohe.
Yeah, I can't wait for Pookie. That track is crazy. I love that sweeper. Did it right there last year, so bring it on for this year.
Chad McKenzie further extends his championship lead in the Pro Sport Series, and in fact, Chad has mathematically won the series title with just one round left to go, so it will be gloves off at the final round at Pukekohe Park Raceway on Anzac weekend.
Well, it's time now to return to highlights from the Demon Energy D1NZ Pro Championship, round 4 of the 2016 series at Hampton Downs Motorsport Park.
Well, in qualifying, there was another good mix of drivers setting the grid for the main event. Team DMNZ's Jody Verhulst taking 5th place in the Milwaukee Tools Supra.
Cole Armstrong in the V-Energy 250 GT Skyline sliding his way into 4th place.
The turbocharged SR20 of Adam Hedges took home 3rd place in qualifying. A great effort from the Seas Garage S14.
Championship contender Kurt Whitaker was the best of the V8s, qualifying in 2nd place.
Oh, yeah, you know, you always try and do a safe first pass, and I probably made it a little bit too safe, unfortunately. And, you know, a 90 is good enough, put us in 2nd place, and, you know, we're just there or thereabouts at the top, so just carry on.
Well, the man to beat at Hampton Downs in qualifying was none other than Nico Reed. He held the qualifying record with a 90.5, but went out and pushed it even further, setting a 94-point pass. The Evergreen Tyres Nissan S15 taking out pole position. Can he push through to grab 3 wins in a row?
Can it be done?
It's a hard job, mate, but I'm going to throw all my all at it, touch wood, and do what it takes to get to that top step again, I guess.
Fantastic onboard shot from Nico Reed, doing the business to take pole position at Hampton Downs Motorsport Park, round 3 of the Demon Energy D1NZ Drifting Series. Kurt Whitaker in second, Adam Hedges in third. Stick around after the break, we head into the battles for the top 32.
Welcome back to the Demon Energy D1NZ National Drifting Championship Series. It's round 4 from Hampton Downs Motorsport Park, and we are into the top 32 for the Pro Championship.
On the left-hand side, Tom Marshall in the Evergreen Tyres. 180S6 goes up against Vincent Langhorne in a borrowed car.
Vinny Langhorne in the Euphoric Motorsport Pro Sport machine of Tyler Rennell goes in for a committed attack here on Tom Marshall, borrowing his brother's car as well, the 180S6 of Joe Marshall, and the Evergreen Tyres holding the advantage there in the first pass.
Well, in a replay of the first pass, we see contact between the two drivers.
Yeah, Vincent Langhorne committing to the chase there, although upsetting Tom Marshall's lead run there, so unfortunately at a disadvantage. So second pass now, what can Vincent Langhorne do in the lead?
Plenty of smoke coming out of the back end of the S13 of Vincent Langhorne.
Tom Marshall, though, committing to the chase run here. He knows he's got a bit of an advantage, and he will go through to take victory into the top 16.
Dave Steadman leads little Stewie Baker in his Mimico Ryko 24/7 S14.
Stewie Baker in the 1.5 JZ Nissan S13, the Stephen Sol Customs paint job, although it's getting lost in the smoke. The 1.5 JZ just chewing on that RB30.
As we go to the high-tech oils replay, we see Stewie Baker not taking the right-hander well. Let's see what he can do as they come into the second pass.
Yeah, Hampton Downs is one of those tracks that's short and technical and highly difficult during the battles, and Stewie Baker comes back with a pretty good lead run there on Dave Steedman, but it isn't enough. Dave Steedman will go through with the victory.
The S15 of Gaz Grove leads the screaming Laurel of Dylan Woolhouse, the V8 powering up over the hill.
Yeah, battle of the V8s here, supercharged LS up against the naturally aspirated LS out in front, the CMP Construction S15 of Gaz Grove. Gaz Grove now with a chance in the chase. What can he do? Dylan Woolhouse and Gaz Grove both putting down pretty solid laps in their first pass, and I tell you what, Steve, I think this is going to go OMT.
Well, you called it right, Kenny. It certainly does go one more time. Grove leads Woolhouse as they come into the right-hander.
Yeah, OMT time here for these two. Dylan Woolhouse, though, perhaps washing out just a little bit wide, and the judges going to OMT. They couldn't separate the two, and Gaz Grove, though, holding the advantage first pass.
That's right, Kenny, as we watch the NZKW Laurel taking a wide line into the first section.
Yeah, misses that apex, and it's pretty crucial here at Hampton Downs. It's such a short track, you'd have to nail all the apexes as well as set up that fine line to get up and over the hill where the judges want you to be. So last pass here for the one more time. You'll see advantage to Gaz Grove. He's got it in the bag, but he's not holding back in the chase here. And equally for Dylan Woolhouse, trying to put down a good lead run here to claim back some points, but unfortunately for him, Gaz Grove would take victory.
Well, it's Adam Davies in the only rotary in the field leading Brad Smith. We ride on board as Brad Smith takes the right-hander up over the hill.
Brad Smith in the supercharged VQ 38-powered Nissan 350Z, although right now he's chewing on a hell of a lot of smoke from that 13B rotary.
Yes, Kenny, he loves the weight displacement of the rotary in the 180S6. Brad Smith leads the way.
Brad Smith's got a lot to pull back here, although Adam Davies washes out wide, completely misses that inside apex, and Brad Smith will probably grab a win out of this one.
Well, Hampton Downs is certainly one of those circuits where the first corner is so critical. Brad Smith will win, moving into the top 16.
Next battle up, Dainham Templeman and Ben Wilkinson. Now, Ben Wilkinson had mechanical dramas off the line and he pulled out of the drift before it even began. Dainham Templeman gifted a victory here in the NAC Insurance E46 BMW, and that big 3-litre turbo just smoking those Westlake tyres.
Certainly an easy pass for Dainham Templeman, moving into the top 16.
Next up, Troy Jenkins and Shane Allen. Shane Allen, it's a home track for him at Hampton Downs. They've got the Rattler Motorsport workshop on site, but Troy Jenkins having a bad weekend in the Colton's Motors 180SX, unfortunately borrowing a car and falling victim to an unfamiliar platform, Steve.
Yes, he's borrowed the Colton's Motors 180SX of D1NZ judge Kyle Jackways.
Yeah, he's familiar with the RB30, but perhaps not with the 186, and certainly the driver cockpit setup of Kyle Jackways. We'll see here the High-Tech Oils replay, and pretty simple spin there on the apex, and that hands a 10-0 advantage to Shane Allen.
And a second pass for these two drivers. Jenkins is going to have to grab one out of the bag if he's going to beat the Gulf Western Oils Rattler Falcon of Shane Allen.
Yeah, V8 versus turbo here, the RB30 out in front, and Shane Allen holding the advantage. He'll have radio comms in his earpiece, so he knows he doesn't have to push too hard here, and Troy Jenkins putting down a pretty good lead lap, but unfortunately it just doesn't come together. Shane Allen moves through to the top 16.
Round 4 of the Demon Energy D1NZ National Drifting Championship, the top 16, ready for next week's show.
Yeah, Nico Reid, our pole sitter, up against Tom Marshall. The other Marshall up against Tannock, Armstrong and Steedman, Verholst and Gasgrove.
It's Whitaker and Smith, Kelly and Templeman, Hedges and Allen, Drew Donovan and Daniel Woolhouse.
Well, tune in next week. Otherwise, see you at Pukekohe for the grand final Anzac weekend. Make sure you get your tickets, iticket.co.nz. Full series and event information at D1NZ.com.
The Demon Energy D1NZ, brought to you by TBC Performance Wheels, The Rock FM, Link ECU, High-Tech Oils and Club Auto Insurance.